Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's ChrisXradio. ChrisXradio.
What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire interlink.
And now, your host.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Chris X.
Good afternoon and welcome to ChrisXradio here on the Voice of Texas. I am the aforementioned X-Man along with, El Supremo is in here on your Monday after the holiday. That's right, we had our Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you guys were able to have a good, enjoyable holiday weekend and spend some time with the family, maybe eat some food, enjoy yourselves and have a good time. I did. I actually got to eat some good food and had a good time and was able to get out of town for a couple of days, which was nice. Went up to the hill country and got to do a cattle roundup. That's always fun. Got to give hat tip, of course, to Jonathan, who's the lead cattle rustler. That dude knows how to handle the cows. I just stand there with a stick, basically, and try to gear them where to go, you know. And there's only so much you can do. Well, I was going to say, he knows what he's doing. Anyway, so I got to go do that. That was nice. And then get back here in time to recover after going up there and running around in the woods, which is always fun. So I hope you guys had a great weekend as well. Welcome to the program. We've got, I was out last week, by the way, as you guys probably figured out. I want to thank Mr. Strew with the View. That's right, Mr. Ben Strusand for filling in for me on Monday of last week. It's always nice when a Strew with the View fills in and takes the reins here on a Monday afternoon and covered it for me. So I appreciate that. And then some of the best of programs. And it was good getting time. I didn't realize how much I needed some time off because I love doing this job, but it's a lot more work than people think. People think you just crack a mic and start talking and everything's good to go. Well, that's not quite the way it is. You actually have to prepare and do a lot of studying, and you get overwhelmed with information in this crazy age of information because Lord knows we have more information than ever in the history of this world. So it's information overload. So it's funny because when I do take a little time off, I do very little participation of news, or I just kind of check out of it for a little bit. So by the time I kind of got back into the swing of things over the weekend and saw what was happening, I was like, oh, yeah, we'll be bringing you a gift beyond price that's almost free on Monday. Oh, there's so much going on. And sure, you probably heard of it. Of course, if you want to join us, 281-558-KSEV. I may take a call or two here in the first couple segments. I've got Matt Locke from the Voice of the Working Man podcast joining us here at the bottom of the hour. So we'll talk with Matt Locke. Always good to catch up with the Matt Lockster. I like to call him the Loch Ness Matster. He's about 8 feet tall. He's a very tall man. But anyway, we'll catch up with him and break down the news. I'm sure you will be ready to talk a little bit about this. From the I told you so category, do you guys remember a while back when I was telling everybody that Joe Biden was going to pardon Humper? Do you guys remember when I told everybody that? And I said, no, I had multiple people. You don't think he said he's not going to pardon him? I was like, I don't care what he says. He's pardoning his kid. He's going to do it. Oh, but he did more than just that. Not only did he pardon his son Humper, Politico has declared Hunter Biden's pardon the biggest in generations. Now, Biden's pardon of his son is the biggest in generations, according to Politico. Joe gave Humper a blanket pardon all the way back to 2014. We've never had a president ever pardon their son before, especially not a blanket pardon that might include, well, let's see, what was going on back then? Anybody remember what was happening back in 2014-ish times? Oh, that's right, Burisma. You guys remember that? Oh, don't worry. There's a lefty or two that'll call in and say there's nothing there. That's why Joe Biden pardoned his son all the way back to before he started with Burisma. Huh. I wonder how many millions of dollars, well, not only Joe Biden and Humper got from Burisma, a corrupt Ukrainian company, but I wonder how many other Democrats and maybe a few Republicans have gotten from that. Well, needless to say, the big guy doesn't want anyone looking into it. So he gave him that big blanket pardon all the way back to 2014. So there you go. Politico, now remember, that's the outlet that peddled the false narrative that insinuated Hunter's laptop was Russian disinformation. Claimed that it never has, quote, seen a pardon as sweeping as Hunter Biden's in generations. Humper pled guilty to federal tax charges in California. You know, he was convicted on the gun charges. So evidence of the tax violations were found on his laptop, along with many other felonies. The outlet's Betsy Woodruff Swan. What a name. Betsy Swan is just a cool name. But Betsy Woodruff Swan compared the pardon of Gerald Ford's pardon to Richard Nixon. That's what she said. Politico's story comes after it published that letter that was signed by 51 Intel officials that insinuated Humper's laptop was simply had the earmarks of Russian disinformation. You guys remember when most of the lamestream media then used that article to go through and say that Hunter Biden, no, it's Russian disinformation, and Joe Biden used that story in a 2020 presidential debate with Trump to discredit the laptop's contents right before an election that he somehow, quote, ended up winning. The story was reportedly planted by Secretary of State Antony Blinken for Biden to use during the debate. The 51 signatories, the agents, however, seemingly knew the story was false at the time because the FBI had the laptop that Humper had abandoned at a Delaware computer repair shop. Apparently, up to this point, I haven't seen a single one of the signatories of that infamous letter have retracted their made-up claim. Not one of them. They're glad. You know why? In other words, they're still leftist dirtbags who were committing election interference and got away with it. By the way, no one should be remotely surprised by any of this. I said at the time, Joe Biden would pardon Humper. I don't care how many times he lied over the last year or two. He lied repeatedly. Remember when Donald Trump got impeached for asking about Humper and Joe's dealings with Burisma? You guys remember that? And then Nancy Pelosi whipped up impeachment charges as fast as they possibly could, and the Democrats rallied the troops to come down and impeach Donald Trump for asking about what Joe and Humper were doing in Ukraine. Remember that? It was a perfectly fine phone call. Joe Biden has been lying for over a half a century in this country. He's been doing it for political and financial gain. It's no accident that he did this pardon over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend while most people are off, spending time with their friends and their family and their loved ones, not watching the news. They know this. That's why he did it when he did. He made sure that he waited until after the election. Why would he do that? Why would he lie over and 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 over again through the election? Oh, that's right. So he could manipulate the lamestreams, give the propaganda apparatus something to talk about so they could pretend like he's above it all, so he could just turn right around in his last month in office and pardon his son, which he was going to do from the get-go. There was never any doubt whatsoever. He wanted as many people as he could before the election to be manipulated to take those garbage talking points from the left. You want to know why I never listen to what they say? Well, I do, but I don't believe them. They're the lying liars who lie and will continue to lie. And they're never going to stop lying. You know why? It benefits them greatly. Joe Biden has been lying to the American people for over a half a century. The dude got popped for plagiarism. He's done so many other things. The guy lies every time he opens his mouth. He lied in the debate. He lied over and over again. He's lied to the people over again. Of course, he lied about not pardoning his only left son, Humper, the crackhead, for all of the obvious felonies that were on that laptop. And now you've got Joe and the White House have lied for years about not pardoning his son for his crimes. Now, realize it's not just Humper that was being pardoned, because he didn't want anyone looking into this, because Joe Biden is up to his lying eyeballs in corruption. He has been for a very long time, but especially when it comes to Humper. So, of course, he sent out his little mouthpiece, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Luc Picard Van Dam Pierre, who every single time they asked her, no, he's not going to pardon his son. He's not going to do it. And all of the media, there's that 9-minute clip, which I'm not playing today, of the propaganda apparatus of the Democrat cult, the media, the lamestreams, saying that Joe Biden is not going to pardon his son. He's not going to do it. Why? He said so. But he says a lot of crap. Didn't matter. Does not matter. He lied to David Muir on ABC News, lied to the American people, lied over and over and over and over and over again. Well, there's a reason for this. Once again, lied to get through the election. Whatever it takes. Harry Reid rule. I came up with that. Lie. You want to apologize to Mitt Romney for saying he didn't pay his taxes? No. It worked, didn't it? They convinced enough idiots, enough low-information voters to vote against Mitt Romney, so we got Barack Obama. And Harry Reid was gleeful about it. Why? Because he was a dirtbag lying Democrat, that no matter what, they want power. So they'll lie, cheat, steal, do whatever they can. It's what they always do. And when asked, do you feel bad? You want to apologize for lying about him not paying his taxes? No, it worked, didn't it? That's all he cared about. That's all Joe Biden cares about. That's all the 51 intel agents who signed that letter care about. That's all James Comey. That's all the FBI, the CIA, all of these leftist dirtbags. That's all they care about. I was watching a clip of, Joe Walsh, the politician, not the musician, going on there saying he was so upset because he had been defending Joe Biden because he hates Trump. He's got Trump derangement syndrome horribly. Obviously, he's a corrupt dirtbag, I'm assuming. It's got to be it. But anyway, now he's so upset that Joe actually pardoned his son. Really? Really, Joe? Really? Come on, people. Now, the average person, I understand why you guys can get manipulated because you don't follow this stuff like I do. It's not your job. You're busy. You got a life to live. I understand that. So for you guys to believe the propaganda media every now and then, because it was everywhere, I can understand that. Anyone upset by this doesn't understand the corruption of Joe Biden. He's been a corrupt dirtbag for a long time. And now he makes history as the first president, first one in history to pardon his criminal son. Now, here's the funny thing. Usually the pardons don't come down for about, close to a month from now. So it's going to be interesting to see who he pardons in his blanket pardons as he goes out the door. Okay, so that's not all in the news today. We've also got President-elect Trump has nominated Kash Patel as his next director of the FBI. This could be good. We'll see if he gets through. Oh, man, he's already talked about taking a blowtorch to the FBI and just tearing, and he should. Remember, the FBI raided Barron Trump's bedroom, okay? Not Humper Biden's. There's no Biden family that has ever been raided by the FBI, but Donald Trump's family got raided. They went through his wife's underwear drawer. They went through his son's bedroom. Oh, yeah. No, they did that for Donald Trump. But did they do that for corrupt, crackhead, whoremonger, God, you name it, no telling what else? I have not seen all the contents of his laptop, but I've heard there's much worse things on there. Obvious felonies. Good thing he pardoned him with a blanket pardon. So basically anything he's done between now and then, Pardon. If I was Humper Biden, like I said, the way he is, I supposedly he's cleaned up. He's not. That dude is going to go on a cocaine, crack, hooker binge like you've never seen. Because all the money he's got now, he can do, because who cares? Daddy will pardon him again on the way out. He didn't care. Dude's got a blanket pardon. He can do whatever he does. The people that have been running around and telling you that no one is above the law are now defending the decision to prove that, yeah, people are above the law. We don't give a damn what you think about it. We're going to create lawfare to stop you and your kind. We will create laws. We'll use lawfare. We'll use a dual-tier justice system to go shut you down and stop you from even questioning us. But we'll pardon our side. The lefties are elated today. They're elated by this. All right. So also we got the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has ordered the Border Patrol to cease trespassing on the Texas border by cutting razor wire the state put up to block illegal entries into Texas. The Immigration Reform Law Institute has submitted a brief to the court, and the court has now sided with Texas. They can continue putting up razor wire, and the Border Patrol cannot cut it. They're not supposed to, not legally. A state has a duty to protect its state, and the federal government does not have a right to go through and violate federal law and violate the state's order, because that's what they were doing. Governor Abbott, of course, hailed the ruling, saying they've done this, he will continue doing it. He said as the Biden administration fades out, the Trump administration begins, Texas and other states will have a big role in helping Trump end the illegal immigration crisis, said Dale L. Wilson, Executive Director and General Counsel of Immigration Reform Law Institute. The task will be a mammoth one, and we are pleased that large-scale assistance at the state level has been put on a stronger legal foundation by this ruling. Okay, we're way over. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back and dig into some of this. We got from Matt Locke from the Voice of the Working Man podcast joining us here at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to Chris X Radio. We are back after a week off. That was weird. That week flew by. Usually if I take more than a day or two off, it seems like forever. This last week flew by. Like in an instant. I guess I was busy. I need to take a vacation to recover from my vacation. All right, you're listening to Chris X Radio here on your Manic Monday edition. And it's a Manic Monday, all right. We'll be right back. We'll dig into some of this, get geared up for Matt Locke from the Voice of the Working Man podcast. Don't you go anywhere.
Call Chris X Radio now. 281-558-KSEV. 281-558-KSEV.
Hey, gang, have you been listening to Steve Davis on the Total Wealth Academy radio show? Probably should be. He talks about how to generate wealth and passive income for you and your family, because that is what they do at Total Wealth Academy. They teach people how to use real estate to build wealth and secondary streams of income. They've been doing it for over 50 years now combined. So if you're just getting started with real estate, or maybe you got a lot of experience, Total Wealth Academy can take you from where you're at today and help you start realizing rates of return that are almost unheard of in just about any other investment. Check out the website, TotalWealthAcademy.com, to get more information, or you can sign up for one of their free sample classes or their member spotlight nights. They have their fall events and their spring events, all kinds of great information right there at TotalWealthAcademy.com. It is your first step towards achieving financial independence via real estate investing. Now, I've known Steve Davis for almost 20 years now. I've watched him teach thousands of people on how to invest in real estate. Many of them went from having no real estate to retirement using those very principles they teach at Total Wealth Academy. In my opinion, he's the best real estate consultant in the country. He's right here in Houston, and he can be yours. Check out TotalWealthAcademy.com for more information. And don't forget to listen to Steve Davis on the Total Wealth Academy radio show. It airs Monday through Saturday at noon right here on the Voice of Texas. That's TotalWealthAcademy.com. And tell them Chris X sent you.
Plumbing emergencies never happen at a convenient time. Nix Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nix Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nixplumbing.com.
MPL 38548. Hi, folks. Dan Patrick here. Beautiful and healthy trees increase your property value, but sick, ugly trees will decrease the value of your home. That's why I recommend you call Ability Tree Experts at 281-441-4179. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace. That's why you need to call my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts. I've known them for over 40 years. Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. Well-fed and pruned tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. You know, pruning is important for the health of your trees and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs. So don't wait to protect your investment. Call Louis Flory now at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, receive a deep root feeding with every tree prune. That's Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree, Houston's leading tree care professional.
And I need to tell you about a problem heading out on the Katy Freeway. If you're heading westbound or outbound coming out of downtown, you start slowing out around the Beltway. Well, actually before the Beltway, because of an accident. It's out there before Barker Cypress. A couple of 2 or 3 lanes are blocked, mainly to the left side. The right side's getting through, but it's pretty heavy in that condition. So again, that's Katy Freeway westbound, just before Barker Cypress. Also from the north side on the Hardy Tow Road, northbound at the Beltway, multiple lanes are closed at that location, so it might cause you a bit of problem heading to Intercontinental Airport.
Are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare. With an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau and thousands of 5-star reviews, customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com.
My insurance advisor is Joe Wardell. He's an independent agent, and he can look at what you have, your coverage, shop, and see. His number is 281-944-9025. Joe Wardell, 281-944-9025.
Hi, folks. Dan Patrick here. Beautiful and healthy trees increase your property value, but sick, ugly trees will decrease the value of your home. That's why I recommend you call Ability Tree Experts at 281-441-4179. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace. That's why you need to call my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts. I've known them for over 40 years. Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. Well-fed and pruned tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. You know, pruning is important for the health of your trees and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs. So don't wait to protect your investment. Call Louis Flory now at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, receive a deep root feeding with every tree prune. That's Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Let's be honest, no one ever thinks about their garage until it stops working. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage is noisy or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repairs. Recommended all over Houston, Garage Door Doctor is your trusted partner for all your garage door needs. Let the experts at Garage Door Doctor tune up your garage door and keep it running for a lifetime. Schedule an appointment today at garagedoordoctor.biz or call today.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a 6-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett Kitchen, best-selling author, executive producer, and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who've retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money's never at risk if the market crashes. That's right, if the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money saved, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie at 800-486-9595. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you can get it completely free. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call right now, 1-800-486-9595. That's 1-800-486-9595. Again, that's 1-800-486-9595.
And now, back to Chris X Radio. Chris X Radio on the Voice of Texas.
Chris X Radio here on your post-Thanksgiving show. That's right, we're back here on your Manic Monday edition of the program. From the I Told You So category, Joe Biden has pardoned his son Humper. We told you it was going to happen. We said it. A lot of people didn't believe it. For some reason, they believe that guy who's lied to you for over a half century. So there's that. So we'll be digging into that coming up. We got Joe Biden, of course. That's the first time a president has pardoned his criminal son in office. We'll dig into that. Also, liberals are losing their minds over the nomination of Kash Patel as the next director of the FBI. Donald Trump has nominated him. And, of course, they're running around doing what liberals do. They lie, saying he's not qualified. He's far more qualified than most of the people that have served in that position. So it makes it ridiculous. So we'll dig into that as well. And I don't know if you guys saw over the weekend, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has ordered Border Patrol to cease trespassing on Texas border by cutting the razor wire the state put in to block illegal entries into Texas. Well, it turns out the court has sided with Texas, and Texas can put up razor wire, and the Border Patrol has no authority to go cut it. They cannot participate by helping people break federal immigration law. Seems logical, right? All right, we were way over in that first segment. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll talk about this and more coming up with Matt Locke from the Voice of the Working Man podcast here on the other side. Let's take another quick break. We'll come back and pick up with Matt. I can only imagine how much he has to say regarding, well, Kash Patel and his nomination. Matt knows Kash Patel at least as good, if not better than I do. And then, of course, the pardoning of Humper Biden. You know what's funny is that came out, I accidentally said Humper on his podcast once. And then forever, he is Humper Biden. Notice no one's even talking about that now. I still have never seen all the evidence on the laptop that the 51 intel agent said was, looks like Russian disinformation. Well, they all knew it wasn't. And they wonder why they're getting Kash Patel. All right, short break. We'll come back. We'll pick up with the Voice of the Working Man podcast host, Matt Locke, joins us here next on Chris X Radio. Don't you go anywhere.
Chris X Radio.
Hi, I'm Don Valentine with John Moore AC, Plumbing, and Electrical. When something breaks, you need help. But most companies charge just to come to your home. Before they even see the problem, there's a fee. I don't get it. Why should you pay them for the chance to earn your business? Not John Moore. Our technician will give you a full, honest explanation of the problem and an estimate for the work. No charge. Free. Call 713-730-2525.
Hi, this is Robert.
And this is Jody.
And I'm Lynn.
And we are the Auto Pros.
We are here to help you with all of your vehicle dilemmas and questions.
Join the Auto Pros every Saturday 10 to noon, right here on KSEV.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate in O'Hara Homes. I'm going to drop some truth bombs that I believe. We're in a global war against evil. Donald Trump is a wartime president. COVID-19 was not the bioweapon the jab was. A surgical mask will not prevent you from getting a virus. The 2020 election was rigged. If you're watching mainstream media, you're being lied to. The elites of this world have been running the largest human trafficking and pedophile ring. The Ukraine is a deep state stronghold. God is real and created two genders, male and female, and Jesus died for our sins. If you're not awake yet, you better wake up. If you want a real estate company that'll give you the truth, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393 or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. If you're looking for a contractor, call O'Hara Homes at the same number, 281-373-3393. God wins this war. Nothing can stop what is coming. Where we go one, we go all. God bless America and God bless Texas.
Fake news hates us. Fake news hates us. Chris X Radio. Chris X Radio.
This is a Gary Hoey version of my favorite, is it Edgar Winter? Oh, it's Edgar Winter group song Frankenstein, which, by the way, I guess if you gave him a big forehead, and then he wouldn't even have to wear the platform shoes because he's already about 6'12". He's a pretty tall guy. You could do that with our next guest. He could play Frankenstein pretty well on Halloween. It is Matt Locke from the Voice of the Working Man podcast. He here joins us here on ChrisX Radio. Hey, good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for being here.
Always, my friend. How you doing?
I'm good. Always good to get you on the program and give you a hard time about you being so darn tall and so darn smart and doing your podcast, The Voice of the Working Man. But after the week, as soon as I saw this, was it night before last, when it came through, I went, oh, yeah, I'm going to have to get Matt on the show and talk about the pardoning of one Humper Biden. Now, I know you've talked to me long enough to know that when they came out and were saying Joe wasn't going to pardon him, I'm like, he's pardoning the dude. There's no way he is leaving office without pardoning his son. What say you, Matt Locke?
Well, I'll tell you, people are getting this wrong. Joe didn't pardon Humper per se. He's pardoning Biden Inc., the whole apparatus of the Biden family with the 20-plus LLCs that don't make a product. This is a preemptive strike because what happened? Kash Patel was named by Donald Trump as the nominee for the FBI director, which set off a whole nother deal, Chris, because, of course, Christopher Wray is still the FBI director. He's supposedly not stepping down. Trump is going to fire him because, as everybody knows, that reads the Constitution, which is not the Democrat Party. The FBI works for the executive branch of the United States of America. Who runs the executive branch, Chris?
Well, that would be the President of the United States.
Yes. So, I mean, here we are. We need to go back. We're watching this explosion. And, Chris, you always know when the most damaging things happen by the number of Democrats who squawk when it takes place. And you have watched an absolute freakout take place over the last day. Literally, there are Democrats in Congress saying that Joe Biden needs to do a blanket pardon for all Democrats. Kid you not.
It's funny because what you're saying is true, because you've got the Democrat Party who have literally lectured everybody since January 6th, well, before that even, but about no one is above the law. Donald Trump, no one is above the law. No one is above the law. And I say January 6, 2021. But no, they've constantly, and while they generated fake charges, fake crimes to go after Donald Trump with, that no one is above the law, only to come to what you said. And you're absolutely right. This is a pardon of the Biden crime family syndicate. And it is a syndicate. It's this whole, they've been lying and enriching themselves for many, many years now. Joe's been doing it, whether for political gain or financial gain for over half century. So to tie that back in, that was why when Joe came out and said he wasn't going to pardon his son, everybody was just buying it hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, this dude's the biggest liar that's ever lived. He's lied to us 1,000,000 times. He's not going to stop lying to us. This is a lie. So when the news came out on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it was, I didn't care. I was like, okay, yeah, of course he did. There was no way he was going to leave his only son that he has left to be at the hest of a Trump Justice Department. There was, especially after what they've done, considering the obvious crimes, but also the obvious lawfare. And as you and I were kind of chatting earlier, not only that, Democrats are terrified, and you pointed that out, but they're not only terrified because of the crimes they've committed and the things they have done over the years, but the fact that they may get served for what they've actually done, but also they may get a taste of their own treatment by an incoming Trump administration. You think that's the case? Is that what has them so terrified now?
Yes. They all know. The deep state is in actual fact a deep state. It's a fourth branch of government that is unelected, that's a bureaucratic blob, as Mike Benz likes to call it. They have broken so many laws, and we've gotten so far away from the Constitution and the structure that our founding fathers, founded this great country on, the Constitution and the rule of law and all the things that you're seeing with the three, branches of government. So what's happening here is you saw it, Chris, and I can give you multiple examples. The bomb threats and all of the threats that went out against Donald Trump's nominees for cabinet positions. All took place, all coordinated. They are terrified. They have to keep these people out of positions of power because if they get in, I mean, you've heard Kash Patel. I know Kash really well, by the way. I heard you talking before you introduced me. I've met Kash several times, very smart guy. He got awards, by the way. People don't understand. He was awarded medals in the Obama administration for going after terrorism. The guy is a bulldog. He's smart as a whip. And he said it on Sean Ryan's podcast about 3 weeks ago that he would burn the Hoover building to the ground or make it a deep state museum, one or the other. You've got 7,000 FBI agents in the Hoover building. He says, go be cops, go out into the country, get out of here. There's just way too much bloat. I'm going to get rid of all of it. The left needs bloat, Chris. They need to hide things. Why do you think we get CRs and omnibus bills? Why do you think we have a deep state in a fourth branch of government and a bureaucracy? So that all the money can roll back, and it all goes back to Ukraine. I'm going to tell you something right now. I understand as a father, if that was my son, first of all, he wouldn't have been raised that way. Joe Biden is an absolute piece of garbage. He raised his son in that manner. He was showering with his daughter at the fact. It was in her dang odd journal. I mean, he is not a nice man. But I would pardon my son. That's just me. But why wouldn't you just commute the gun sentence and the tax evasion? You go back 11 years, you go back to 2014, when what happened, Chris? That's when Humper started working for Burisma, and Joe started getting rich because he was the vice president. And I'll tell you a little something. All roads lead back to one Barack Hussein Obama.
Boy, we're talking with Matt Locke from the Voice of the Working Man podcast. And yeah, you said that before. And every day further seems to go back and support that theory even more. But you're absolutely right. That's where, Burisma comes in back in 2014 when he got, Humper got put on the board of directors and started making, what was it, 50, 60K a month, whatever it was. And God knows what other kind of money and stuff they were getting out of this. And clearly that's the case. And you're right. This is just a part of that deep state that they talk about because as you pointed out, it's massive. It is so big and so, as Mike Ben says, calls it a blob. It's this ever-encompassing entity that has no regard for you or your rights or laws or whatever. It is all about what they can do and what they can gain and what they can get. And just like with the 51 intel agents that went and insinuated Humper's laptop was Russian disinformation, they did this in a clear attempt at election interference. Every one of them should have been charged, but they're not going to get charged by the blob, the deep state. Joe Biden obviously went through, and there's a reason why he pushed it, all the way. It's a blanket pardon all the way back to 2014 to make sure that he's not being implemented, but neither is, I guess, any of his other, family members that are part of that, the Biden crime family syndicate. And then throw on the fact that, it was funny because Joe Biden just pardoned those two turkeys the other day and wasn't one of them named Hunter? Well, if it wasn't, he made sure he got that covered. So there's that, and he did it on a holiday weekend. The other thing, too, is understand what was taking place here. He threw out those obvious lies so the propaganda media would carry them ad nauseum over and over again and tell anyone who said anything other than that they were wrong, that that's not what's going to happen, and they did it all the way through the election so he could come out and do this now. It was for political gain. It was for, monetary or you name it. It's for gain. The guy was obviously playing a game here with words to make sure that the people did just like the intel agents signing off on the letter. This is all done for political power. It wasn't an accident that it's released over holiday weekend. It wasn't an accident that he comes out and does this after the election. This is clearly, as you pointed out, a clear line of things heading up to this point that shows what type of person Joe Biden and his family are. They're not good people. As you pointed out, Joe Biden is not a nice man. He's not a good man. He's a terrible man. And I think at this point, and I want to know what you think, I think he's the worst president we've ever had, hands down most corrupt.
Oh, by far. I mean, by every metric available, all you have to do, he has turned the Democrat Party. James Carville talked about the other day. I was talking about this in my podcast. Him and Kamala Harris have destroyed the Democrat Party. Chris, why do you think there's been no BLM or Antifa riots right now? Because $2.5 billion was wasted in a Kamala Harris campaign. The Democrat Party is not only broke, but they're broken. And so now you got Democrats, like I said, I'm not kidding you. I am hearing from sources in Washington, D.C., that there is a list of names that they are looking at for preemptive pardons. Andrew Weissman, Peter Strzok ring a bell, Lisa Page. I can go right down, Jim Comey. You can go right down the list of these folks. On top of that, all of the Biden family. And then I'm hearing some crazy thing. I heard a theory today that I'm going to break here on your show. I'm hearing that Joe Biden's going to have some sort of medical problem procedure where Kamala's going to have to be named president. And then in that time, she's going to pardon him. So don't be crazy to think wilder stuff isn't coming. I mean, I throw that out there as a giggle, Chris, but would you be shocked if something didn't happen along those lines where Kamala had to be the president for a short amount of time or whatever, and she actually pardons Joe Biden? Would you be shocked?
No, at this point, not one bit. I mean, not even a tiny bit. We are so far beyond the pale now that nothing would surprise me. And you're right. The Democrat Party is in shambles with everything that's occurred. And then now, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And I know the vice president steps in to take over anytime the president has to be put under for a medical procedure or anything along those lines. So that's not out of out of common, normal procedure. That being said, if she stepped in and pardoned Joe Biden at that point, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if Joe Biden got the, what was her name? The comedian Joan Rivers treatment, where you make a mistake and then you go under the knife and you never come back. So, but which I'm not wishing death upon anyone. But the point is what you just said. The conspiracy theories back in the day that used to be conspiracy theories are now almost par for the course and not even surprising. That's why what you're telling me here on the program, I don't doubt you're hearing this at all. It doesn't surprise me now. Whether it'll happen or not, we shall see. But, yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit. All right, Matt, tell everybody how they can pay attention to the Voice of the Working Man podcast. Check out your show, and, of course, follow all the things you're doing.
Well, it's easy to find me. Voice of the Working Man, where all podcasts can be found. VOTWM.com. That's voiceoftheworkingman.com. Or over at Matlock Radio on Twitter. But you need to listen to the show. I've got lots and lots of information that's coming in. I only gave you about an eighth of the tidbits I know.
So what you're saying is, so people really need to tune in to tomorrow's program for sure. And you usually post it about what time? You usually put it out in the morning, don't you?
Yeah, 10 a.m. Central.
Okay, so 10 a.m. Central, there you go. You can go check out the Voice of the Working Man podcast. And by the way, we got to get together, Matt. I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody owes me a cheeseburger, and I'm kind of hungry right now. I'm ready to do this thing.
I'm ready. You know where I live. You're welcome anytime, and I'll happily buy you that cheeseburger because Donald Trump's president for the 47th president. So there we go. Let's go eat some cheeseburgers and celebrate.
That sounds like, oh, man, that's worth it. Heck, I'd even pay for that one. I know the last time that you won the bet, so I had to buy you the cheeseburger, and I happily did. And then so at least we're evening up, and then we'll have to come up with a new cheeseburger bet at some time. But it's got to be something good and crazy because this was a fun one that literally had to go all the way through the election because as crazy as it seemed, just what you pointed out on today's program, there's nothing too crazy that the Democrats won't try these days. So nothing surprises us. Hence, the whole Joe pardoning Humper and you name it. I got to ask you this. I want to get you on the air very quickly. Do you see things calming down and getting less crazy over the coming months now that we have, the Trumpocalypse Part 2 coming at us?
Well, you would have thought so, but Chris, you're so right. Things are going to ramp up all the way through January 20th, and I think that's when really the fireworks start. So, no, we're not. I think for the at least next 2 years, it is going to be crazy town for quite a while.
The only thing I'll throw in there is the next 200 years if we last that long. So there is no telling. All right, Matt, always good to catch up with you. Thanks again, and everybody go check out the Voice of the Working Man podcast. Thanks for being here, Matt. We'll do this again very soon.
Always, my friend.
All right, once again, Matlock, you can find him everywhere, the Voice of the Working Man podcast. Follow him on Twitter as well. X. I don't know if I'm ever going to get over calling it Twitter because when you say you X'd something, that doesn't – you tweet it out. So you can't tweet out from X, right? I don't know. I just know that Matt was the one who got me past the, what was it, 972 followers. I was stuck on that number forever. It was, literally years. Let me go look. What am I at today? I've got over I'm at 1,023. Wow. I was at 1,060 last week, and now I'm down to 1,023 followers. So I just got purged down another 40 followers just in a few days. I'm telling you, I'm still stuck in one of those algorithms. All right, you're listening to Chris X Radio. I'll go and open up the phones. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. We'll be right back.
Elections have consequences. So does your radio dial. Don't touch it. Chris X Radio returns after this.
Chris X here for Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative Christian wireless company. I'm sure you've heard of them by now. Are you ready to start supporting these companies that actually share your values and your principles? Patriot Mobile does. That's one of those companies that does exactly what you want. They donate a portion of every dollar they earn to organizations that fight for causes that you and I care about. Last year, they donated over $2.3 million to Christian and conservative causes. They're going to donate even more this year. And you get a great service, a great product, and it saves you money. What are the odds of that, huh? Patriot Mobile offers you an alternative to those woke companies that don't like us, and they use our money to take away our rights and our freedoms. Patriot Mobile has exceptional coverage on the nation's best 4 and 5G networks. They use the same towers as the main carriers, and they'll have plans that'll fit any budget. Now, that includes multi-line users, so you can get phones for the entire family. You can get lines for the entire family, all for around half of what Big Mobile charges. Now, they have something that you've probably never heard of, the Patriot Mobile One service. Ask them about that, where you can get access to all 3 networks on a single device, so you'll have the most reliable coverage anytime, anywhere. It's called the Patriot Mobile One service. Make sure you ask them about that. So when you switch to Patriot Mobile, now you take away your support for those leftist progressive agendas of big woke mobile, and you add it to the conservative Christian causes of Patriot Mobile, a great company that's actually in line with your values and principles. They also offer great discounts for veterans and first responders. All right, so when you go to switch, it's very easy. You go to patriotmobile.com/KSEV. patriotmobile.com/KSEV. You can do everything there, or you can call them on their U.S.-based customer service line. Talk to Americans in America at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. Now, when you call them, use offer code KSEV. You get free activation, save even more money. Don't forget, offer code KSEV when you call them. patriotmobile.com/KSEV online, or call them directly at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
Do you need money? Want to lower your monthly debt? Are you thinking about a cash-out refinance? Hi, it's Kathy from Baker Mortgage. A cash-out refinance can get you back in your comfort zone, and that's what it's all about. A recent client who closed with us had his payment go up about $300, but his monthly outgo was being reduced by $1,200, so giving him a net positive cash flow of $900. It's not about adding debt, but restructuring it in a way that makes sense, and this math totally makes sense. And please don't sweat it if your interest rate is going up a little or if you're extending the term. I can show you by taking a small amount of what you're saving monthly and applying it towards your mortgage, you're going to pay it off just as quickly, and you'll be way ahead in the money game, which is where we all want to be, right? Remember, we want to help you, but we're not going to help you over a cliff. Baker Mortgage, 281-313-MOVE, or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
For over 30 years, Sweet Taste of Texas has offered Southern-style candies for your gift giving and your personal enjoyment. Order your sweet-tasting holiday gift online at sweettasteoftexas.com, or stop by their new location, 10681 Haddington, right off Sam Houston Beltway Frontage Road North, just past Westview.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert.
Checo Pro Joe here. Join me every Saturday at 1 p.m. for my radio show. My guest this week will be Cody Johnson from Garage Door Doctor. For all of your garage door needs, contact Garage Door Doctor at 281-343-3632.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. 800-951-6756. 800-951-6756. That's 800-951-6756. Paid for by Airtime Media.
And now, back to Chris X Radio. Chris X Radio on the voice of Texas.
Welcome back to Chris X Radio here on the Voice of Texas. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. You reached the final segment of the first hour, but don't you go anywhere. We got hour number 2 locked and loaded, and we'll be getting plenty of your phone calls at 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. In fact, let's go ahead and jump right to the phones. I want to thank Matt Locke from the Voice of the Working Man podcast joining us here in the last segment. Let's jump out to the phones, pick up with David listening in Spring. David, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to Chris X Radio.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, sir, I really hope Trump is going to fix all this corruption. I mean, it's BS. Biden pardoning his son Hunter. I just think it's despicable. Despicable what he's doing. Come to find out, I don't know if you heard about this, but he's also got a hotel that he's been having people, foreign dignitaries, stay at the hotel, and they've been paying these like exorbitant rates to stay at the hotel. I mean, it's crazy the corruption that the Biden administration has allowed. I mean, who knows? Maybe last minute he's going to appoint Hunter to be the ambassador to France or try to fix peace in the Middle East. I mean, it's ridiculous. What do you think Trump's going to do about that? How is he going to fix this cronyism and nepotism and making sure that like the right people get hired and the wrong people don't get pardoned? Thank you for taking my call. Oh, by the way, can Trump just shoot Hunter Biden? I mean, he can kill him, right? He's a president, so the Supreme Court said that he's immune from prosecution in official acts of duty. So, I mean, Hunter is a traitor. So why can't Trump just shoot him? Thank you.
Well, David, they tried to shoot Trump. That was a really lousy phone call. That was a good troll, I guess, to get in. Terrible call. First of all of your premises were flawed as could possibly be. Second of all, anyone who didn't know that Humper was going to be pardoned by his dad, Joe Biden, just doesn't understand Joe Biden or politics or how that works. So because he's pardoning the entire family and himself, everybody wants to, once again, calls like David, want to project what Biden did onto Trump to somehow everybody Trump's the bad guy. There's a reason why they impeached Trump twice. They tried to get rid of him. They created new laws to go after him. They extended the statute of limitations on a law just for him and then sunset it so they wouldn't use it against anyone else. They tried to murder Donald Trump at least twice. Iran's tried to do it. There's a reason why they're doing all of these things, David, because Donald Trump isn't what you think he is. You're espousing the garbage lies that you've been told repeatedly by the propaganda outlets known as the lamestream media, which is why people don't watch them anymore. And then people like you jump on programs and try to pass that information off, trying to be very slick, but you're not slick. You're transparent in all the wrong ways. Joe Biden is the most corrupt president we've ever had. He's one of the most corrupt politicians for over a half a century in this country. And history will not be kind to him, where it will be very kind to Donald Trump instead. All right, hour number 2 is up next. Don't you go anywhere.